What's your question?
What's your question?
About the last week.
Okay, are we recording? Before we start, let me correct myself from last week.
Okay.
Last week I said that, I said when I talked about the ceremony in the air in the 15th chapter emerging from the earth, and I said who was the bodhisattva that said where did all these people come from? Mm-hmm. I said Manjushri, I should have said Maitreya. It was Maitreya. Oh. I knew as soon as I said it to check, and I was wrong. Okay, so it was Maitreya, not Manjushri. Mm. That's my only correction from last week. What else? What did you need to know?
Last week you are talking about the Buddha of the sowing. The Buddhism of the sowing is strict and it's confined. Confined means.
What do you mean? Trick? What do you mean trick?
Strict.
Oh, strict. This is here.
I can show the video. So I feel confused about this part.
Okay. Strict and confined.
Yeah. When you talk about
I said sixfold secret teaching is threefold secret teaching, and the sixth be your actual existence in this lifetime. Correct? Go to an ashram. These are all about, getting your thinking straight or whatever, right? Anything that's an improvement process, right? He's saying the religious spirit, he's defining it now, refers to the inner spiritual power to create courage, which is not exclusive to this Buddhism. Do you understand that? Right. Lots of people use different kinds of thinking to create courage from nihilism. Nihilism means everything is screwed, everything's bad. Okay, everything's nihilism, by the way. Not continued. All right, it's a very negative perspective. Hope from despair. This is not the only Buddhism that creates hope from despair. Okay, I'm sure I'm going to go to heaven. That creates hope for a lot of people that are filled with the despair of their life in the night and the world of existence, right? It is the spirit to look for the spiritual power in oneself and others and in all universal phenomena. So he's saying, open your eyes to the people. When he says open your eyes to the people, he's saying understand absolute meow instead of everything being relative meow. Even those people that don't agree with you or have a different perspective are still part of it. They're still included in the Gohonzon. They're still included in the Buddhism of sowing. If you make no attempt to understand their thinking or their perceptions of how they perceive, how can you ever convince them to broaden their perspective to include causality from the perspective of the Buddhism of sowing? You cannot. So he's saying, be a big-minded person, not a small-minded person. The Buddhism of the sowing isn't something that makes everything more strict and more restrained and more confined and more difficult to reach. It's something that expands it all because I misspoke. You missed the not. It's not something that does all those things.
It's not.
Because in the next sentence I'm saying it's something that expands.
Yes.
So you can hear the contradiction. I misspoke. I will misspeak from time to time.
Oh,
anytime. Yeah. You should have just written me or called me up. I would have immediately. You said go to this point. I missed in the process of again. I don't read from notes. Mm-hmm. I don't prepare a lecture. I do prepare myself for speaking, but I don't work from a text. So I'm not reading something. So as I riff along sometimes,
I just want.
Yeah. No,
because
it's just the opposite. The word not. If you listen to it carefully, I didn't. I just didn't say clearly. Oh. You didn't catch what I was saying, and I certainly wouldn't. I may have misspoke, but I don't think so. I think I kind of like there's something in there, but no. That's no wonder you're confused. No wonder you're confused. Yeah, because that would be exactly the opposite of what I was actually saying. Okay, so there is. It's not strict. It's all inclusive. It's
it's infinitely compassionate. You know, the one thing that I can tell you that always has amazed me about faith in this Gohonzon is the infinite compassion that I have found in my life as it relates to me being a human being. All the things that I could do that might otherwise, in my mind, if I were in charge, disqualify me, none of it's ever disqualified me. The Gohonzon has always opened arms, embraced me. The minute I chant Daimoku, it's over. It's past. That's part of the process. If there's karma that comes, it's okay. It's what I deal with to actually create the wisdom that I have from living, right? So it's not anything to lament, and it's nothing that's perceived or held against me. There's no judgment, is what I'm saying. To be judgmental has no place in this Buddhism. Nichiren didn't judge anybody. Okay, he qualified cause and effect. Okay, but he didn't judge people from the perspective of saying you're a bad person. He even says about all the people that are his enemies, it's not that we don't like them as the people, it's that the things that they are saying are misleading others. Remember, he says that's what he qualifies the badness about a slanderer. A slanderer isn't a bad person. A slanderer is still an entity of the mystic law.
Yes.
All things are an entity of the mystic law. So you can never go to that edge to say, that's a black one, that's a white one. That's a different shade of one. Okay? There's no variation to all that. Okay? It's all pure, bright, brilliant brightness, white. We're Buddhists. That's why I said you scraped off, you go back 2 weeks ago, I said you scrape off the crap, there's gold underneath everybody. We're all golden Buddhas as the basis of our life. That's the original state. Okay? Now we had a question also, and so I'm glad you asked that. I'm sorry that I'm glad that you got to that point. I watched the video. I didn't see it. I didn't catch myself saying that, or I'd have corrected myself. Because I know what I was saying. The knot is okay. It says from Marilyn, she's asking for an explanation of the 9th and 10th. Can you explain to me what the 9th and 10th world means and what Nichiren Daishonin means about vehicle? Now, I posted all kinds of stuff. Did anybody look at what I posted online?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you transfer it to Facebook?
Yeah.
You did already? Okay, so she has access to it, right? Okay. So the first thing was I wanted her to be aware of the fact that Volume 1 is available in Spanish, online. You can read every Gosho in Volume 1 in Spanish. You knew that, right?
Yeah.
You know it for French too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, a long time ago. Okay, so I put it in also for French just in case.
I don't read in French.
You read it in English. Okay, I just, for the sake of giving it to you, as long as I had it for her. So again, I can tell from the way Marilyn writes Nam Myoho Renge Kyo that she is of Spanish. Spanish is her first language. Okay, so I want her to be aware that the whole first volume of the Gosho is available in Spanish online, and I gave that link. I gave the link for French. Okay, so she asks about the 9th and 10th worlds, and asks also about the Buddha vehicle, what Nichiren Daishonin means by the Buddha vehicle. Okay, these are very deep questions, but they also happen to completely coincide with Chapter 3, which is where we should be like right about now, right? We got to 31. We got all the way through Chapter 2, correct? So we're starting on Chapter 3 now. So I'm going to answer these questions as an answer to Marilyn's question, but also as a preface to what we're about to study, because I could almost answer her question just by skipping ahead of where we're going to be in Chapter 3, but it wouldn't be as complete. So I'm going to start with the first question she asks about, which is the 9th world, which is, what is the 9th world? Pardon me, I guess I'm going to start with explaining to her the Buddha vehicle. When she talks about Nichiren Daishonin talking about the Buddha vehicle, what does Nichiren Daishonin mean by the Buddha vehicle? Does everybody know what the Buddha vehicle is?
One vehicle.
It's the one vehicle. And what's the significance of the one vehicle?
You don't change the form, you just
It's actually the combination of the three vehicles is the one vehicle. Okay? So the teaching is actually that common mortals outside the realm of Buddhism, okay, right? the highest world that they achieve is what? In transmigration, in the 6 paths with yada, 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 right? They only go up to 6. Okay? Yeah, they only go up to 6. Heavenly beings still included there. Okay? 7, 8, and 9 were what were taught as separate worlds, as learning, realization, and bodhisattva, right? She's asking about bodhisattva, but understand that in truth, bodhisattva is an aspect of Buddhahood. Okay, what separates those 3 vehicles that were combined to form the one vehicle? What separates the first 2 vehicles from that 3rd vehicle? Actually, because it's very significant. What?
Compassion to save the others.
Exactly. The first 2 are for yourself, and actually are necessary for you to be able to have the wisdom to perceive and achieve the 9th. Okay? You can't not know anything and have just compassion as a bodhisattva. You've got to know how to lead people, right? That's the whole point. Okay? And it's the gateway to Buddhahood. Yes, sir. What? No. Okay. So she says she was asking about the 9th and the 10th world. All right? So you've got the 9th world is the world of bodhisattva, and the 10th world is Buddhahood, and the Buddha vehicle is the one vehicle, okay? But rather than me giving you those kinds of brief, let me go into this. One vehicle, also single vehicle, Buddha vehicle, one vehicle of Buddhahood, or supreme vehicle. What do we mean by vehicle? Vehicle in this sense is a manner of conveyance. It's the thing that gets you there. It's the process of transport. It's the process of assimilating you from one state to another state, okay? Yeah. So, the teaching that leads all people to Buddhahood is the one vehicle. Do you understand? That's how it's described. So, right from the beginning, we know that when Nichiren talks about the one vehicle, what is he talking about?
Buddha.
But specifically,
Face the Gohonzon.
the Gohonzon, but Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. Okay, that's the teaching. That's the teaching, not the entity. The teacher is the entity. The teaching is Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. So this describes this. Also, one vehicle, also single vehicle, one vehicle of Buddhahood or supreme vehicle. It's the conveyance of the teaching that leads all people to the state of Buddhahood, the 10th world. Okay? Now, what's the state of Buddhahood? There's 10 worlds, right? Mm-hmm. Is the world of Buddhahood a world where we graduate from 7 and then we 8? No. Okay, so again, what is Buddhahood?
It's including
Buddhahood is a life condition. All 10 worlds are life conditions. Yes. They're not locations, they're not places, and none of them are a circumstance of permanence. All right? We don't go to the first world and stay in hell all the time. Okay? Nobody is in hell all the time. They might go get a drink of water and for that moment feel some relief. Okay? Or they might feel hunger for something. They won't always be in hell. No one will ever be in one world all the time. They're not residences. They're life conditions. Now, when they were originally taught pre-Lotus Sutra, they were taught as separate worlds, where everybody that deserved to be in hell went to a world of hell. Everybody that deserved to be in a world of hungry spirits went to a world of hungry spirits. Everybody that deserved to be in the world of animals went to the world of animals. Everybody that deserved to be in the world of Asuras went to the world of Asuras. Everybody that deserved to be human beings. Heavenly beings. Get it? Yeah. These were all separated. All right? So, the teaching that leads all people to Buddhahood. So we already qualified. That is Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, no matter what else I say here, right?
Right.
It is taught in the Flower Garland and other Mahayana sutras, but the Lotus Sutra places the greatest emphasis on it. The Buddha's teaching is compared to a vehicle that carries one to a particular state of enlightenment. In accordance with people's capacities, the pre-Lotus Sutra teachings expound and emphasize the voice-hearer vehicle, okay? right? Those are the people of the two vehicles. Get it?
Yeah,
Remember?
Yeah.
Voice hearers are who? World of learning, right? Voice hearer vehicle, which leads you to the state of Arhat, and the cause awakened one vehicle, which leads you to being a Pratyeka Buddha. Okay? And then the Bodhisattva vehicle, which after many kalpas of practice leads you to become a Buddha, an actual Buddha. But in that teaching, that Buddha is a full-time Buddha, right? That isn't a Buddha of the 9 worlds that they're talking about here. Do you understand? That's a separate state, a separate place. That's a Buddha world. That's all pre-Lotus. It says, it is taught in the Flower Garland and other Mahayana sutras. Okay? Which means they're all pre-Lotus. But the Lotus Sutra places greatest emphasis on this one vehicle. Do you understand? So, he's saying then, in accordance with people's capacities, the pre-Lotus Sutra teachings expound and emphasize these 3 vehicles. Okay? And after which the voice hearer vehicle and the cause awakened vehicle are together termed the 2 vehicles. Now, what was significant about those 2 vehicles? People of the 2 vehicles. What was the deal with people of the 2 vehicles? What is the significance in the teaching of Buddhism for the entire teaching of Buddhism up until the Lotus Sutra?
The woman's place?
Nope.
Yeah.
We're talking about 7 and 8, right? We're talking about learning realization or voice hearer Pratyeka Buddha. Okay, what is the significance of those individuals in the pre-Lotus Sutra teachings? In the teachings of everything other than the last part of Shakyamuni's teaching and then all of the Buddhism of the harvest, or Buddhism of the sowing. Pardon me.
They
What?
are not Buddhas in the lifetime, they have to become.
What?
The theoretical Buddha.
Nope.
In pre-Lotus Sutra,
They can never become Buddhists. They can never attain Buddhahood.
Try to attain, but
They would never be able to. No, it says that they cannot attain it.
Yeah, they
I
cannot.
It says that they cannot attain it.
even after practicing.
Even after
the right
practicing
way,
countless,
doesn't
they
matter.
are screwed. Okay? That's just like women are screwed too. In pre-Lotus
This is
Sutra,
why-
right?
this is why I
People,
said that
each kantika, people that have scorched their seed, are also precluded from ever being able to attain Buddhahood, right? So that's the whole significance of the Lotus Sutra. The Lotus Sutra is where we replace the 3 vehicles with the 1 vehicle. The 3 vehicles includes the 2 vehicles which preclude people from being able to attain Buddhahood. Those people in realization and learning could not attain Buddhahood. The Lotus Sutra opens up that way through the 1 vehicle, correct? Do you understand? All right. The Lotus Sutra teaches that these 3 vehicles are not ends in themselves, but means to lead people to the 1 vehicle. So, okay, it would lead them over a course of lifetimes, because we already know the third of the 3, which is the more advanced of the 3, took countless kalpas to achieve Buddhahood, right? And the Buddhist teaching itself says those 2 people of the 2 vehicles, they can never attain Buddhahood, just like women, just like evil people. All right? The expedient means 2nd chapter of the sutra says that the Buddhas employ only a single vehicle to preach the law to living beings. It also says that the Buddhas, utilizing the power of expedient means, divide the 1 vehicle into and preach it as though it were 3. So do understand that the Lotus Sutra says that the 3 vehicles are really just the Buddha vehicle divided into 3. There is no separation between those higher 4 worlds. 6, 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, and 10 are all aspects of the same thing. They're all aspects of the truth. Okay? The ultimate truth being that everyone's already a Buddha exactly as they are. And they all experience learning. When we read the Gosho, what are you guys doing right now? You're learning. Okay? I constantly have, to my great benefit, I constantly will be laying in bed or be doing anything, and all of a sudden my wife, out of nothingness, will just say, so according to Buddhism, then if this is so, then it's like this and like this and like this, right? And look at me, and I'll have to answer, and then she'll say, so if that's the case, then it's this and this and this and this, huh? Wow, how beautiful. That's realization. That's still an aspect of Buddhahood. Do you understand? This is the actualization of Buddhahood in your present form. It's not a magic wand strike where all of a sudden lightning hit and like, oh, now I get it. And everything changed. It is a process. That process begins with learning. It continues with realization. It continues with growing as a person to expand your needs or to expand your desires beyond just gimme, gimme, gimme kind of benefit practice. Into the practice where you embrace the teaching for the sake of Kosen Rufu. That's the 5th of the 5 stages of practice, right?
Yeah.
So that's all part of this process that unwraps and reveals what was always there all along. The Buddhahood. You didn't acquire the Buddhahood through learning or through realization or through compassion. You uncovered it. Do you understand? That's the difference. Okay? Now, so she's asked about 9th world and 10th world, and 9th world is Bodhisattva and 10th world is Buddhahood. But does anybody get to the 10th world actually through the 9th world? No. What is the significance of the 9th world that gets you to the 10th world?
You realize that you have the Buddha.
Yes, but how could you possibly do that?
Without mindful.
Want to help the others.
No.
This is not, it's kind of a trick question. I'm trying to get you to think deeper. All right, so again, what's the next thing that I put down there for you to check out? First, I put down the definition of a bodhisattva.
Provision.
Okay, let's go to the 10 worlds. Let's go to the 10 worlds then. Let's go to the next thing, the 10 worlds. 10 distinct realms or categories of beings referred to in the Buddhist scriptures. From the lowest to the highest, the realms of hell, hungry spirits, animals, asuras, human beings, heavenly beings. Do you know asuras are right? Demons, right?
Yeah.
Human beings, heavenly beings, 7 voice hearers, 8 cause awakened ones, 9 bodhisattvas, and 10 Buddhas. The 10 worlds were viewed originally as distinct physical locations, each with its own particular inhabitants. The Lotus Sutra, however, teaches that each of the 10 worlds contains all 10 within it, making it possible to interpret them as potential states of life inherent in each individual being. In other words, from the standpoint of the Lotus Sutra, and that's what all of this is predicated from the standpoint of the Lotus Sutra, the 10 worlds indicates 10 potential states or conditions that a person can manifest or experience. The mutual possession of the 10 worlds is a component principle of 3,000 realms in a single moment of life, which Tentai set forth in great concentration and insight. The 10 worlds may be described as follows. The world of hell. Nichiren's 1273 treatise, The Object of Devotion for the Observation of the Mind, states, rage is the world of hell. Hell indicates a condition in which living itself is misery and suffering, and in which, devoid of all freedom, one's anger and rage becomes a source of further self-destruction. 2, the world of hungry spirits. This is also called the world of hunger, a condition governed by endless desire for such things as food, profit, pleasure, power, recognition, or fame, in which one is never truly satisfied. The above work reads, greed is the world of hungry spirits. 3, the world of animals, also called the world of morality, of animality. It is a condition driven by instinct and lacking in reason, morality, or wisdom with which to control oneself. In this condition, one is ruled by the rule of the jungle, standing in fear of the strong, but despising and preying upon those weaker than oneself. The same work states, foolishness is the world of animals, because they can't perceive that truth. The worlds of hell, hungry spirits, and animals are collectively known as the 3 evil paths. The world of asuras, also known as the world of animosity, or the world of anger. In Indian mythology, asuras are arrogant and belligerent demons. This condition is called the world of animosity because it is characterized by persistent, though not necessarily overt, aggressiveness. Understand again, anger is not the anger that you think about. Anger is like always having to be right kind of anger, okay, which is easily disguised. He says, perversity is the world of asuras. It is a condition dominated by ego, in which excessive pride prevents one from revealing one's true self or seeing others as they really are. Compelled by the need to be superior to others or surpass them at any cost, one may feign politeness or even flatter others while inwardly despising them. The worlds of hell-hungry spirits, animals, and asuras are collectively called the four evil paths. Again, pissed off is not asuras. The world of human beings, also called the world of humanity. The same work reads, calmness is the world of human beings. In this state, one tries to control one's desires and impulses with reason and act in harmony with one's surroundings and other people, while also aspiring for a higher state of life. The world of heavenly beings is number 6, also called the world of heaven. The same work states, joy is the world of heaven. This is a condition of contentment and joy that one feels when released from suffering or upon satisfaction of some desire. It is a temporary joy that is dependent upon and may easily change with circumstances. The 6 worlds from hell throughout the world, through the world of heavenly beings, are called the 6 paths. Beings in the 6 paths, or those who tend toward these states of life, are largely controlled by restrictions of their surroundings and are therefore extremely vulnerable to changing circumstances. The remaining states in which one transcends the uncertainty of the 6 paths are called the 4 noble worlds. The world of voice hearers, learning, a condition in which one awakens to the impermanence of all things and the instability of the 6 paths. You learn to understand that you can't hang your hat on that there's a deeper meaning, there's a deeper truth. Let's find out what it is. This is also called the world of learning. In this state, one dedicates oneself to creating a better life through self-reformation and self-development by learning from the ideas, knowledge, and experience of one's predecessors and contemporaries. Voice hearers originally meant those who listened to the Buddha preach the 4 noble truths, practice the Eightfold Path in order to acquire emancipation from earthly desires. And that's what that was. That was still 7. 8, the world of cause-awakened ones, a condition in which one perceives the impermanence of all phenomena and strives to free oneself from the sufferings of the 6 paths by seeing some lasting truth through one's own observations and effort. Also called the world of realization, cause-awakened ones are known as self-awakened ones. Originally meant those who attain a form of emancipation by perceiving the 12-link chain of causation by observing natural phenomena. Persons in the worlds of voice hearers and cause-awakened ones, which are together called persons of the 2 vehicles, are given more to the pursuit of self-perfection than to altruism. They are also willing to look squarely at the reality of death and seek the eternal, in contrast to those in the world of heaven who are distracted from life's harsh realities. 9, the world of bodhisattva is a state of compassion in which one thinks of and works for others' happiness even before becoming happy oneself. Bodhisattva, which consists of bodhi, enlightenment, and sattva, beings, means a person who seeks enlightenment while leading others to enlightenment. Bodhisattvas find the way to self-perfection lies only in altruism, working for the enlightenment of others even before their own enlightenment. Nichiren states in The Object of Devotion for Observing the Mind, even a heartless villain loves his wife and children. He too has a portion of the bodhisattva world within him. 10, the world of Buddhas or Buddhahood. This is a state of perfect and absolute freedom in which one realizes the true aspect of all phenomena or the true nature of life. One can achieve this state by manifesting the Buddha nature inherent in one's life. From the standpoint of the philosophy of the mutual possession of the 10 worlds, Buddhahood should not be viewed as a state removed from the sufferings and imperfections of ordinary persons. Attaining Buddhahood does not mean becoming a special being. In this state, one still continues to work against and defeat the negative functions of life and transform any and all difficulty into further causes for development. It is a state of complete access to the boundless wisdom, compassion, courage, and other qualities inherent in life, and with these can create harmony with and among others and between human life and nature. In the above work, Nichiren states Buddhahood is the most difficult to demonstrate, but he also says that ordinary people born in the latter age can believe in the Lotus Sutra is in fact due to the fact that the world of Buddhahood is present in human world. So everybody understands what the concept here, right?
Yes.
This is basic old Buddhism that was then carried forward by Tentai to establish these as life conditions. But what about the 10 worlds that Tentai discussed and the 10 worlds that Nichiren discusses are actually differentiated? Whether you realize that or not, it may not be spelled out doctrinally, but it is absolutely there. Okay? The Bodhisattva of the former and the middle day is not the same Bodhisattva as the latter day. Do you understand that? Okay, so can the Bodhisattva of the former day and the middle day actually lead one to the attainment of Buddhahood?
No.
No! That's the key. It's Bodhisattvas of the earth that ultimately are able to reflect and bring forth Buddhahood from their lives. No one else. We're not talking about the Bodhisattva of missionaries or the Bodhisattva of nurses and doctors and teachers. Those are all Bodhisattva natures. They're all part of the 10 worlds, but they're not specific to this access point of Buddhahood. Do you understand? Do you understand that, right? I can be a business person. I don't have to be an altruistic, emergency help person or whatever, an ambulance driver or a teacher. I don't have to express bodhisattva compassion in that way. All right? I express it as a bodhisattva of the earth. It's a different expression of the bodhisattva compassion, because what I'm leading to is not helping people that are suffering feel better. I'm helping them provide themselves with the means to achieve their own elimination of suffering. Do you understand? There's a big difference. There's a huge difference. So when she asks about the 9th and the 10th world, I have to say to her, in reality, you're talking about the same thing. One is the child and one is the adult. What gives way to the 10th world in all people that are able to achieve the 10th world? It's the path of the bodhisattva of the earth. That's the only thing that puts one in correlation to the correct, the true, as the Daishonin says, the true 9 worlds. What are the true 9 worlds? He's talking about learning as it relates to the Buddhism of the sowing. He's talking about realization as it relates to the Buddhism of the sowing. He's talking about compassion as it relates to the Buddhism of the sowing. He's talking about the Buddhahood that's described by the Buddhism of the sowing, that one achieves through the Buddhism of the sowing. Do you understand? It's different than Tentai's Ichinen Sanzen. Tentai's Ichinen Sanzen is theoretical. Nichiren's is actual, because it contains the component of bodhisattva of the earth, which is the attachment as the original disciple to the original teacher. Anybody that got a Gohonzon they've got a relationship with a Gohonzon. That doesn't happen by accident. They may not practice their whole life. They may go Taitan, but they have an inseparable relationship with the Gohonzon that will continue to occur and reoccur until they are manifest 10th world people. They are actual Ichinen Sanzen people. You don't open the box of the true 10 worlds, the true mutual possession of the 10 worlds. And we're going to start discussing about the beginningless time, the 9 worlds of the all present and beginningless time. That's the 9 worlds of Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. That's the 9 worlds of the Bodhisattvas of the earth. Did the Bodhisattvas of the earth live anywhere but in the 9 worlds? No! They have a different hell than the people that are in hell. Their hell is for the sake of saving the people that are actually in hell. Do you understand? That's Ganken Go. They're not in hell because they're shit. Do you understand?
So can I say that
Yeah.
it is also according to are they having the vow?
Yes, it's all about the vow. Our whole life as a bodhisattva, if you manifest as a bodhisattva of the earth, then you took the vow. You didn't happen upon the vow. The vow isn't something that they squeaked in at the last second before you made your advent into this lifetime.
But I think in reality, those are two separate things. I mean, Many people in Australia will say, "Well, I'm the Bodhisattva from the earth," but they are not necessarily.
That's right. That's right. They're not two separate things. They're one thing.
Yes, but
Two
they act.
separate understandings. One of the understandings is incorrect. Why do you think I'm opening my mouth? Okay, and I'm basing it on the teaching. I'm not basing it on my opinion.
Yeah, I think
I'm going to
that's
base
right.
it on everything President Kate is going to say in the next chapter.
Yeah, that's why we have to read the opening of the eye, because that's the correct one. Otherwise, yeah, as Joey said, I think 2 weeks ago I asked the same question to you, because I was wondering that people have different life conditions, so they do have different explanation to their follower or something like that. And which one is correct and which one is incorrect? This is, and when I said that, I was thinking that we cannot say people is incorrect, but maybe their life state is not high enough, and they see the different view, or they see some. I cannot say lower, but just a different view.
Okay,
to
but
you, right?
there's nothing wrong with saying correct and incorrect. Let me
Yeah.
tell you why.
Uh-huh.
That's exactly what Daisaku Ikeda is already doing.
Uh-huh.
Okay, there are a lot of other people chanting Amiho Rengekyo. Is he saying cool? Let's just let everybody just chant however they want to chant.
Yeah.
Let's let everybody chant with whatever kind of thinking and understanding that they want. No, this is all about the Soka philosophy. This is about the path that President Toda and President Makaguchi started, that President Ikeda has embellished world into the whole world. Okay, this is a separation. That's why I'm teaching this. I'm teaching this because this is what was taught to me, and this is exactly what President Ikeda is teaching.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you don't understand how to make those distinctions, how can you explain them to other people?
Exactly.
You can't. You can't. Ninth world is ninth world, and it's not. Okay? Do you understand? Everybody understands the point I'm trying to make. Again, I'm trying to help you understand something that I understand, but I don't know if I can convey it in a way that you can. Okay? Because this all takes daimoku.
Yeah.
This all takes that 8th world in front of the Gohanzan, the realization side. You can learn. But then, what does it mean, really? Just like what you're just talking about. What does, in the depth of your life, it's not good enough to have it memorized so you passed a test and then you forgot about it 3 weeks later. This is about being the Buddha. This is about actual Ichinen Sanzen. That's all I talk about, right?
Yeah.
This understanding is what helps you achieve that. That understanding will not get you there. You'll never achieve actual Ichinen Sanzen with the perception that you just talked about. You'll fool yourself into thinking, first of all, you'll never even perceive actual Ichinen Sanzen. You'll still be thinking about perfection. You'll still be thinking something that's outside of your life. You'll become disillusioned by the time you've chanted for 30 or 40 years and still have nothing has really changed. Okay? That's what we're trying to fight right now. We're trying to come up with the answers to encourage all the people that are going to be so discouraged because they put so much time in and they didn't see a result. Okay? And they didn't see people leading them the way President Ikeda wrote about how they're supposed to be led. Okay? That's why we're doing what we're doing. Even though we're a humble little group, that's why we're doing what we're doing.
But we are special.
Oh,
Yeah, we are.
as special as everyone.
Yeah.
Okay? As special as everyone. We have a special karma, for sure.
Yeah.
All right?
We are here for a reason.
Yeah, for a reason, very definitely. Okay, so that's why I got into all 10 worlds, because I wanted to say, if you want to look at this from a define this, it's easy to say 9th world Bodhisattva, 10th world Buddha. Stop it there, and I haven't really given you an honest answer, because it's really not 9th world Bodhisattva, 10th world Buddha. It's 9th world Bodhisattva of the earth, 10th world true identity. It's not a separate thing that you achieved. It's not something that these other worlds helped you get to. It was always there. It's always the original state. That's what it just, I just read some here where he says he takes the 10th, the Buddha vehicle and divides it into 3. The 10th is the 3. The 3 are nothing more than the 10th divided up into segments so that You're not being asked to take on something there's no way for you to have the capacity to perceive. Without some learning, you couldn't walk into the 10th world. You're not going to achieve actual Ichinen Sanzen without knowing shit about what Buddhism says. Okay? You're not going to achieve actual Ichinen Sanzen if you don't care enough to ponder it through faith to the Gohonzon. The wisdom will not come forth from your life. This isn't a slot machine. You put in the money and all you had to do was pull a lever. It's not that easy.
No.
Okay? And you're not going to get there if you don't make the causes to achieve actual Ichinen Sanzen. And that means opening your life up to more than just yourself and caring about what the Buddha's will is. The Buddha's will is Kosen Rufu. That's why you're caring about other people. That's the aspect of caring about other people that's significant, because Kosen Rufu is the whole predication of this. It's not about you becoming a Buddha. It's about you sharing your original state with others so that they can understand and bring forth their original state, which is identical to your original state. There's no separation between you and anybody else. You just see it that way, if you see it that way. Do you understand? It's called delusion. All right, so what was the next thing I had down? 10 worlds. Now I think I'm going to get into Bodhisattva. I think I don't have to get into the B for Bodhisattva. Yeah, this is just a generic explanation of what a Bodhisattva is. Okay, what a Bodhisattva did historically. You know, they had to master the 6 paramitas, yada, 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 yada. That doesn't have anything to do with this. Half of these definitions, and again, I put them to you so I wouldn't have to read them all, but you can read them all. The first 2 paragraphs will always be about Buddhism in general, and then the second one will be about Tentai's clarification and his repositioning of that broadly accepted truth, and then it'll always finish with Nichiren's qualification of what it really is. And that's really all you got to worry about, is what Nichiren said ultimately it was. All right? So then I go from that B to Bodhisattvas of the earth. Correct? Everybody understands what a Bodhisattva of the earth is?
Yes.
And then Buddhahood,
Buddhahood.
the state of awakening that a Buddha has attained. That's what Buddhahood is. Okay, so what is Buddhahood? The state of awakening that a Buddha has attained. So what is the state of awakening that a Buddha attains? Actual Ichinen Sanzen. Okay? So what is Buddhahood? It's actual Ichinen Sanzen. What is actual Ichinen Sanzen? Actually realizing that you are the Buddha exactly as you are, as stated like 500,000 million times. Okay? The ultimate goal of Buddhist practice, obviously, and the highest of the 10 worlds. Yes. The word enlightenment is often used synonymously with Buddhahood. So it's enlightenment. What is enlightenment? Actual Ichinen Sanzen. What is Buddha? Actual Ichinen Sanzen. All right? The Lotus Sutra reveals that Buddhahood is a potential in the lives of all beings. All right? So it's universally available. Then I went to A. What was A? Oh, the attainment of Buddhahood. This is a good one. Let me read this one to you. Jobutsu. To become a Buddha. Several teachings concerning the attainment of Buddhahood or enlightenment are expounded on the basis of the Lotus Sutra. 1. Attaining Buddhahood in one's present form. This means to attain Buddhahood just as one is, without discarding the body of an ordinary person. Also referred to as attaining Buddhahood as an ordinary person. This teaching was formulated by Tentai, by the Tentai school, on the basis of the Lotus Sutra. According to many of the sutras other than the Lotus, one can attain Buddhahood only after having discarded the body of an ordinary person, which was said to give rise to earthly desires and illusions, right? You had to get rid of this body that had desires and illusions so that you could purify yourself, right? In contrast, the Lotus teaches that one can attain Buddhahood in one's present form or as an ordinary person. This principle is often illustrated by the example of the Dragon King's daughter from the 8th chapter of the Lotus Sutra, in which, who according to the 12th chapter, attained Buddhahood in a single moment without changing her dragon or her female form. The concept of attaining Buddhahood in one's present form contrasts with that of attaining Buddhahood through transformation of sex and character. The latter means, for example, that a woman must be reborn as a man in order to attain Buddhahood. So that's one definition. The second definition, attaining Buddhahood in this lifetime or in a single lifetime. This concept is in sharp contrast with the idea that one must carry out austere practices over a period of many kalpas in order to attain Buddhahood, and is essentially the same as attaining Buddhahood in one's present form. Other teachings concerning the attainment of Buddhahood are introduced clearly in the Lotus Sutra. 1. The Buddhahood of the persons of the two vehicles. 2. In the first half of the Lotus Sutra, persons with the two vehicles, voice hearers and cause awakened ones, receive a prophecy from Shakyamuni Buddha that they will attain Buddhahood in future ages. This prophecy refutes the view of provisional Mahayana teachings, which deny persons of the two vehicles the attainment of Buddhahood, for they seek only personal salvation and do not strive to save others. The Lotus Sutra says that they will practice the Bodhisattva way and attain Buddhahood. 2. The Buddhahood of women. In the first half of the sutra, the Dragon King's daughter, you already know all this, right? Mm-hmm. The Buddhahood of evil persons and the Buddhahood of plants. All those things are things that are not normally considered in the provisional teachings as possible. The true aspect of all phenomena. I wanted to read this because it's important. Okay, because this goes back to the Buddha vehicle. Understanding this is part of being in the Buddha, utilizing the Buddha vehicle. Okay, when I say when I say the true aspect of all phenomena, what does everybody think of?
Life.
Yes, but the true aspect of life itself, if you say life, is constantly changing. Okay, so that's that's not a true aspect. Those are momentary.
I think Buddhahood.
It is the law. It's the ninth consciousness. The ultimate truth or reality that permeates all phenomena and is in no way separate from them. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, okay, the original state, the ninth consciousness. A principle expressed in the Expedient Means chapter of Lotus Sutra. The chapter states the true aspect of all phenomena can only be understood and shared between Buddhas. This reality consists of the 10 factors. All right? Now, you understand? Doesn't that make sense? Okay? So, that the Expedient Means chapter defines the true aspect of phenomena as the 10 factors of life, from appearance to the consistency of from beginning to end, which describes the unchanging aspect of life common to all phenomena. Since the 10 factors exist in any of the 10 worlds, there can be no fundamental distinction between a Buddha and an ordinary person. This revelation of the 10 factors of life thus establishes a theoretical basis for the universal attainment of Buddhahood. Okay? Now, I'll continue. Based on this passage of the Expedient Means chapter, Tiantai established the philosophical system of 3,000 realms in a single moment of life. In his 1273 work entitled The True Aspect of All Phenomena, Nichiren defined all phenomena as all living beings in their environments in the 10 worlds, and the true aspect as the law of Myoho Renge-kyo, the ultimate reality permeating all living beings and their environments in any of the 10 worlds. All phenomena, he stated, are manifestations of this universal law, phenomena, and the ultimate truth are inseparable and non-dual. Okay, did you understand that? Okay, so if it's that way with all things, then all things are not separate and non-dual. Do you understand? If the law and each aspect of the law cannot be separated, then nothing can be separated. Everybody's with me?
Yes.
Okay, then going on to 2 more and I'm done. Thank you for being patient. This is an important one. True Buddha. A Buddha in his true identity, in contrast to his transient or provisional identity. This term is applied in 2 specific ways. To Shakyamuni Buddha, as he describes himself in the lifespan 16th chapter of the Lotus Sutra, that is, having attained Buddhahood in the remote past countless kalpas ago, which is what? Who said it? Somebody say Goyaku Jintingo? Did I hear somebody say that? Numberless major world system dust particle kalpas ago. That's what he discusses in the Lotus Sutra. Okay, he never discusses Kuan Ganjo. All right? to Shakyamuni Buddha as he describes himself in the lifespan, 16th chapter Lotus Sutra, that is, having attained Buddhahood in the remote past countless kalpas ago, Goyaku Jintingo. In that chapter, Shakyamuni states, in all the worlds of the heavenly and human beings and asuras all believe that the present Shakyamuni Buddha, after leaving the palace of the Shakyas, seated himself in the place of meditation not far from the city of Gaya, or Gaye, and there attained supreme perfect enlightenment. But good men, it has been immeasurable, boundless hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, millions of nayutas of kalpas since I in fact attained Buddhahood. With this statement, Shakyamuni redefines his identity as a Buddha who originally attained his enlightenment in the remarkably remote past. From the standpoint of the philosophy of the Lotus Sutra, the Shakyamuni who is thought to have attained enlightenment in the current life under the Bodhi tree in India is a provisional Buddha, or a Buddha in his transient identity. In his provisional identity, Shakyamuni is seen as a temporary manifestation of the true Buddha who employed various temporary expedient teachings to prepare people to understand his true identity and true teachings and thereby lead them to enlightenment. Everybody's with me? That's what he tried doing when he opened up the Lotus Sutra and provided the perfect teaching. From the perspective of the content of the Lotus Sutra, the true Buddha corresponds to the Shakyamuni depicted in the essential teaching latter half of the Lotus Sutra, while the Buddha in his transient identity is the Shakyamuni of the theoretical teaching first half of the Lotus Sutra. You with me? That's one definition. Here's another definition, the one that we should listen to, as a reference to Nichiren when we talk about true Buddha, applied to him traditionally by those in the lineage of his disciple Nikko. Why? Because many of the other schools consider him only to be a great bodhisattva. He's just Jogyo. He's not really a Buddha yet. Okay? Even though he expounded Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. He took the ultimate teaching of life that must be some other Buddha's teaching, and then he taught that teaching for that Buddha. Yeah, right. Where in any of the sutras is there an expression of anything like that? The Buddha teaches his teaching. All right? That's why Nichiren made his advent to teach Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. It's his teaching. He's the original teacher. The fact that he's the one that teaches Nam-myoho Renge-kyo is what qualifies that. All right? As a reference to Nichiren applied to him traditionally by those in the lineage of his disciple Nikko, who's the only one that understood his true identity. In the profound meaning of Lotus Sutra, Tentai refers to the true cause and the true effect as the first two of the 10 mystic principles of the essential teaching of the Lotus Sutra based on the revelation of Shakyamuni's original attainment of enlightenment in the remote past, Goyaku Jintingo, numberless major world system dust particle kalpas ago. He associates the true cause with the sentence in the lifespan chapter, originally I practiced the Bodhisattva way, and the life that I acquired then has yet to come to an end. And the true effect with the sentence, since I attained Buddhahood, an extremely long period of time has passed. In the remote past, Shakyamuni practiced the Bodhisattva way, the true cause, and attained Buddhahood, the true effect. Shakyamuni never specifically reveals, however, what teaching he originally practiced, the true cause or seed of his Buddhahood. Regarding this, Nichiren states, the doctrine of the sowing of the seed and its maturing and harvesting is the very heart and core of the Lotus Sutra. All the Buddhas of the three existences and the 10 directions have invariably attained Buddhahood through the seeds represented by the 5 characters of Myoho Renge-kyo. From this perspective, Nichiren is regarded as the teacher of true cause and Shakyamuni as the teacher of true effect. This is because in the Lotus Sutra, Shakyamuni revealed his eternal Buddhahood, the effect of his original Bodhisattva practice. He did not, however, reveal the true cause of the nature of the specific practice by which he attained it. Nichiren, on the hand, revealed the teaching. He actually divined it from the depths, right? It's not on the surface. Nichiren, on the other hand, revealed the teaching and practice of Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, which he identified as the true cause that enables all people to attain Buddhahood. This viewpoint identifies Nichiren as the true Buddha. Nichiren explains the passage of the Lotus Sutra cited above. It has been immeasurable, boundless hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, millions of nayutas of kalpas since I, in fact, attained Buddhahood. In the record of the orally transmitted teachings, he says, I, in fact, is explaining that Shakyamuni, in fact, attained Buddhahood in the inconceivably remote past. The meaning of this chapter, however, is that I represents the living beings of the phenomenal world. I here refers to each and every being in the 10 worlds. In fact, establishes that I is a Buddha eternally endowed with the 3 bodies. Eternally, that means originally, right? This is what is being called a fact. In fact, everyone is an original, true Buddha. Attained refers both to the one who attains and to what is attained. Attain means to open or reveal the truth, the original state. It is to reveal that the beings of the phenomenal world are Buddhas eternally, originally endowed with the 3 bodies. Buddhahood means being enlightened to this. Buddhahood means understanding this. Actual Ichinen Sanzen is to perceive this in your life, and by virtue of that, perceiving it in the lives of all others. Here Nichiren is saying that every being is essentially a Buddha, eternally endowed with the 3 bodies, originally endowed. They're all true Buddhas. Every being is a true Buddha. In this sense, true Buddha refers to the Buddha nature eternally inherent in the lives of all living beings. In the true aspect of all phenomena, Nichiren states, a common mortal is an entity of the 3 bodies and a true Buddha. A Buddha is a function of the 3 bodies and a provisional Buddha. I'll go to the last one then, and that's to clarify the original teacher, which is the Buddha, pardon me, I've got to go to 2. First true cause, which is the teaching of the original teacher. True cause, also the mystic principle of the true cause, one of the 10 mystic principles of the essential teaching, latter half of the Lotus Sutra formulated by Tentai. In the profound meanings of the Lotus Sutra, refers to the practice that Shakyamuni carried out countless kalpas in the past in order to attain his original enlightenment. The term contrasts with the true effect, or the original enlightenment Shakyamuni achieved countless kalpas before enlightenment in India. The true cause is indicated in the phrase in the lifespan chapter, originally I practiced the Bodhisattva way. Profound meaning defines Bodhisattva way as the true cause of Shakyamuni's original enlightenment. Okay, so Tentai qualified Bodhisattva way is the true cause of his original enlightenment, numberless major world system dust particle kalpas ago, right? Tentai interpreted it as a reference to the first stage of security, or the 11th of the 52 stages of the Bodhisattva practice that he, as Tentai, qualified, the 52 stages. The stage of non-regression, or the attainment of which he has defined as the true cause for Shakyamuni's original enlightenment. Non-regression meaning that you'll never have a lifetime where you don't hook up and continue on the path, right? However, what teaching or law Shakyamuni had practiced to attain the stage of non-regression remained unclear. Nichiren identified the true cause of the fundamental law that enables all people to attain their enlightenment as the law of Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. So what does Nichiren say that Shakyamuni practiced in order to originally attain Buddhahood, numberless major world system dust particle kalpas ago? Based on his teaching, what does he say Shakyamuni practiced? Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, very clearly. Okay? Because he fully revealed the true cause for attaining Buddhahood by not revealing all this hocus-pocus expedient means for the former and the middle day people, Nichiren is considered the Buddha of true cause. All right? While Shakyamuni is considered the Buddha of true effect. That's self-explanatory. That's understandable, right? Yes?
Yes.
And I guess that's it. True Buddha and true cause. That's what I did. And it's already 9 o'clock? Impossible. So it took a full hour to get through all of Marilyn's questions. But you're going to find out that next week when we start on page 33, that he's going to get into all of this again. So if I were you, I would reread all those dictionary definitions, make sure that you're perfectly clear on them, and then the clarity of understanding for this next chapter will be much easier to come by. And I'm sorry we didn't get into the text because it's my favorite part of the text, actually. This is when he starts crashing everything down, destroying all this provisional teaching. By qualifying the truth once, he destroys everything that preceded it that was an expedient means. So thank you very much. See you all next week. Will you be here next week?
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have to somehow then get this to you. She has trouble with that. Goodbye. She has